Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think you'll have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be
Along
as
a
bright
toddler
as the
has been
sun.
missing in Savannah.
And when you come around, and it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give, something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now I know. Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give, something's telling me it's right. When you came to me, oh I knew it's you, yeah, boy.
Where is Cody?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? So you guys, I came on here. I know you guys said, I thought we was going to talk about another case. And we were. And you guys going to have to forgive me. I just cannot get over this case, you guys. I've been looking at some things and I just want to have a quick chat today. We wasn't even going to come on. I came on because we got things handled. And I just want you guys to know, like everybody's going through some stuff, So, so my not Pooh Bear, but my grandson, my oldest grandson, he was in a car accident. He's okay. He's okay. Everybody's like, no, he's okay. He's okay. So I was working on something and then my computer went completely like crazy. So therefore it had me in a stump for a minute and I had to call my daughter. And in the middle of calling my daughter, she was telling me what's going on. And, she didn't want me to worry, but he is okay. God is good. But yeah, he was in an accident. And he wasn't driving. He was not the one driving. Somebody else was driving. He was just in the accident. And you know how kids are. So anyway, you guys just keep your prayers out for him. So only thing I got done after being all nervous, is like, washing my clothes, drying my clothes. They're in the dryer right now. I got to get them out. And then, other stuff has been in a process. I want to thank everybody coming on in here. Make sure you hit the like button. If you new, subscribe to the channel. Please share, like, and subscribe. Sanjay is in the building. She was number one up in the chat. Then we got Monique is in here. Lisa Calhoun. Virginia is in the building. Virginia. She said, "Hey, News Nuggets, get an interview with Renee of Fire or listen to her about Nazar." I don't know who is that. Now I don't want to interview anybody unless you know, actually, I don't want to interview anybody unless they're part of the situation. You know, um, we got Lisa Calhoun, we got C6 Banks, Denise Young. We got, and matter of fact, I haven't never heard of that person. I've never. We got Tina Powers in the building. Hey, Tina, what's going on? Stranger. Okay, stranger danger. Kenya is in the building. Well, I could not log on either. You guys, I could not log on. But hey, if anybody, this will be a quick live. If anybody got anything that they want to share, I will put the link in the chat if you want to come up. You ain't got to show your face or anything. But let me grab that. And I am already copy. You guys, I got something that we've talked about it before, and we just I just can't get over some of the things that we heard. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, so we're not going to stay on here long, but do you want me to come up? Yeah, you can come up on the panel. You can come up if that's what you want to do. You can come up anytime you like. Today is just a quick live, and share what you want to. We always love conversation about Naziah. We want to keep this baby's name and face out there because we know October is not a long time. We're waiting for October. It's not a long time, but I know people get antsy. And I do too. I know we do have to cover but there's some other things that I wanted to share with you guys, but I want to show it to you. I just don't want to tell you because it seems like when I tell you guys something, it'd be like, we know that. But the way when you hear it, when it happens or something, then it refreshes your mind what was said, who said it, how they said it, and how it was like there's a whole bunch of questions in people's testimonies that they couldn't ask these questions at the preliminary because the preliminary is just very vague. It's just we're going to hit the bullet points and that settles that. Nobody can just go, hey, this is what happened. One thing I had a problem with when I went back over King's testimony, King's, he seemed like when they told King, now listen, you guys, when they told King that tell us how your day was, King. King was like, okay, well, this is how this happened. I got up at the shop around about 8:49. What do you mean 8:49? You looked at your clock and were like, well, I'm late. I'm about 49 minutes late, whatever. But no, he said 8:49 because I'm always late. I left. I go work out first. I leave at 6. They say I can leave at 6. So I leave the house at 6, but I don't get there until 8:49. The Jag arrived around about 9, he said. And I'm like, okay. And then he turns around and he's talking about, he didn't know if Jarvis had already been there or not. But remember, Jarvis has court that day. And usually you don't get in court and 5 minutes later you're done. When you go to court, you got to wait until your number is called and then or the judge has talked to your attorney and said, hey, you can do this, do that, whatever. Now I don't think it took him long, but then for at some time he shows up because he had to. He had to show up. He was at court, and then he showed up, and so they must have been working whatever, and then they go to pick up uh, Naziah. Let's see here. We got Kenya in the building. Hey, Kenya,
Hi,
how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I mean, I can't complain. Life is life. So we're gonna still continue to talk about Naziah case and all the discrepancies that we see that came out in the testimony. I'm working on that. I'll probably have it done tonight at work. If nothing happens at work, I'll have it done tomorrow. And there's some things that does not even make sense. I also seen that when uh Tawana was on the in court giving her testimony, she said I love you. She told her brother she love him. And I thought, okay, but she shared what she seen. Now, and I was just thinking, did she share what she seen because she felt some kind of way about being, because they did not know that she was down there. You know what I'm saying? Are you there?
Are you asking me the question?
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I didn't hear some of it because I had a double screen on, so it was echoing. So I was trying to figure out what screen to close out. So I apologize. What was your question?
My question was, did you see that uh Tawana, she mouthed the word that to Jarvis. She said before she got to the defense to ask her questions, they said she said I love you.
Oh, to her brother.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I didn't. If she turned, well, we were on the right side. He was on the left. So if that's what she did, then we didn't see it.
Do you think that I mean, do you praise her to tell what she, I mean not praise her, but do you are you happy she told what she told?
Absolutely. She helped connect the dots. Well, she really kind of made it official to say that yes, Naziah was with him that day. So she kind of signed and sealed it when she said, yeah, I saw her and she was there at that shop. So she kind of signed it off right there when she admitted, that she saw her.
So I got a question to ask you. So because I felt the same way. I felt like, her being his sister, she did not have to include herself in
She
this.
did. She didn't, but either or, she was already included because I'm pretty sure her phone attached to his phone, and I'm sure it linked up at the same place. So they was going to get a hold of her whether she called in or not.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, they did a video. They did a video chat. So, you know, she could say, "Hey, whatever," or "I left my car down there." She didn't have to say she seen anything.
Oh, true enough, she didn't, but thank goodness she did.
Now, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna just throw this out there. I mean, I believe what she's saying, but I mean, we always look at the other side of the coin also because there's always two sides. But we always look at the other side just in case. What if? What if? Let's talk hypothetically, and they find Naziah's remains or whatever, and then come to find out that they put a time limit and they say you know what? No, she was gone just right after 3 p.m.
Well, that would be impossible because they got video of her walking into the hotel with Jarvis.
You keep saying that. You
Yeah.
keep saying they got video of her walking in, but that they didn't say that on the trial thing. They didn't even see it. They didn't even see it when they did the press conference.
Oops, maybe I let that slip.
You said you let that. What? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Huh. Okay. So. Mm. So I was so you believe everything because see when everybody's telling their story, their story is really not adding up. Like like King says this, and then Talacia says that, and King says this, and when King was talking about when he gave his account about everything, he did not say nothing about Jarvis's sister being there. He did not say, and Jarvis's sister didn't say nothing about um the car ran out of gas and they had to push it. She didn't say nothing about that.
Well, I mean, I don't think they asked. I think they asked her specific questions. They asked him specific questions. So it wasn't like they just
But
had him tell what their day was like or nothing like that. They asked them specific questions.
I get that. I They did ask her specific questions, but when she was telling her account,
Of what
wouldn't it
you
be
remember.
wouldn't it been obvious to say, oh, they had to move the car, push the car because the car ran out of gas?
Well, yeah, remember they wasn't may my opinion, maybe she wasn't there during that time when they were hassling with the Jaguar. They weren't hassling with her car. Um,
Okay, but here's the thing: the timestamp says that she was there before they got there.
mhm.
Okay, she was there before they got there. Her time is like 3:45 or something. They didn't get there until like 4 o'clock.
So maybe all that happened before they got to the shop. I don't know. I can't answer that.
How that
Maybe
happened before they got to the shop?
with them running out of gas or whatever.
No, they're talking about when Naziah was in the car sitting there jumping in and out. King said they had to stop because the truck ran out of gas and it was a distraction. They had to push his truck to the pump to put gas in it.
Yeah, he was saying that Nazaria was a distraction. Didn't he want to drop her off or something like that? Yeah, that kind of jogs my memory. Um, I mean, I can't answer what they, why they answered differently or why they didn't answer them certain questions. I'm sure it'll come out when trial comes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I don't think people's looking at these discrepancies and going, man, that don't even make sense. I mean, surely they're going to not have everything together, but I mean, there's just certain things that,
Right. It should be in more detail, but like I said, they only want to give us so much anyway, until trial, So it's
so,
basically we on the tip waiting for more information, but they're only gonna feed us so much of the information that they know.
right, right, right. But you know what I think? I think that they got Jarvis and They don't want to mess that up, and they're not going to mess it up, and we don't want them to mess it up because they do have them. But regardless, it's like, what if somebody else helped him, like King, or
Well,
what?
King had a tether, so King had to get gone by a certain time. So, do I think that King, in my opinion, had anything to do with her demise? No. I cannot say that if he knew anything or if he knew what was going to happen. I cannot say anything, if he did. I can't say that. But do I think that he had something to do with her demise? No. Because he had a tether and he had to be gone by a certain time. He had to get in. So after whatever, when he probably left that shop, it was then just Jarvis and Naziah at that point.
Right, right.
So I mean, I don't want to excuse him. Do I think that he, in my opinion, may have known some things was going on up there? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully he wasn't a participant, but when a man has a part of his body and he want to get it working, you can't discriminate. They don't know how to discriminate sometimes. But I don't think he had anything to do with her demise. So I think that he knew things was happening. Yeah.
Right, right. So, um, so I did want to ask you a question because in the last couple of days we were having a conversation, and we found out that the teacher from the after school program
Hmm.
had wrote on Facebook that she was the teacher in the after school program, and when Annette got on the stand, Annette was like, this, that, and the other. She said that Jarvis actually had came up to the school to either pick Naziah up, and Naziah told the teacher that was her dad, and she lied to her and said that was her dad, and Annette knew, because the school called Annette and they told Annette and all this. So the weird thing about that is, if the school knew that this man was down the street parked and Naziah was saying that, getting out of school in the school program, and that's why she pulled her out the school program, and her getting into it with a little girl was a year prior to that. It didn't have nothing to do with that.
Mm,
Did
mm.
you did you not see that?
I did. I saw the message, and I did hear about that part. I think that Naziah went to get in the truck, and she stopped her from getting in the truck. I don't think that she rode off with him. And I believe.
No, they said that Naziah had got in the truck and then her head was disappeared, and I guess she was doing something with him.
No, I didn't hear all of that. I
Mm.
didn't. I didn't hear all of
Well,
that.
that could have been something extra. Somebody, I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't read that in the message. The message says, matter of fact, if let me see if I could put this message up here. Let me.
yeah, I do remember that part, and I remember that she went to ask who he was, and he skirted off. From what I understand, all that other stuff, I didn't hear that. But yeah, absolutely believe what the teacher said. Yeah, I mean, she don't have no reason to lie. Because why would you take her out of the after school program and she's doing well?
Yeah.
That's
Here's the message. She says lies. I'm the after school program teacher. She was having problems with a little girl, yes, but that was the previous year. She took Naziah out that summer because Jarvis, she said she took Naziah out that summer because Jarvis came up there to see Naziah, and Naziah had lied to me, stating he was her dad to pick her up next day. Grandma took her out.
yeah, I remember hearing that.
I followed up with her asking why I haven't seen Naziah. She stated because they moved and didn't want Naziah having to travel that far home by herself. but watching the case, you stayed in the same house for a while.
I mean, but even at that, they still live on the same block. They just across the street.
So
So
they just moved across the street.
yeah, you know how you have a main street, you have a block, you have a main street, you have a block. So basically, she just moved on the other side of the same block.
Oh, she just moved on the next block.
Yeah, on the other, yeah, across the main street. instead,
Oh, okay.
instead of
That's
being on the right side, she's now on the left side of the main street.
okay. So she would have been. So she okay.
Still the
Now
same distance.
pretty much pretty close.
Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, yeah. So did you not know that when they questioned King, that was in November?
When they questioned him or before he got locked up.
Uh, he was locked up in November 2024. That's when he
Oh, so
did
he was
his
locked up
preliminary.
before Jarvis.
Huh?
So he was locked up before Jarvis?
No, no, in 2024, November.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because he got locked up in February and then him in November, but he got locked up for something else.
Yeah, he got locked up for something else. It didn't have nothing to do with his tether. It didn't have nothing to do with he. People was like, "Nah, SP, he revoked his parole, a violation of probation." I know, no, that is not it, you guys. Huh? That is not why. It didn't
Yeah,
have nothing to do with that.
yeah. I thought it was assault on a pregnant woman or something like that, and both of them passed away or something like that.
Say what?
Yeah.
What you say? Both of them passed away.
I don't want to put it out there like that because I haven't looked up his record, but that was put in my ear that it was something due to assault with a pregnant woman and her and the baby passed away, or the baby passed away, or something like that. Yeah,
Mm. I didn't know why. I just know he caught a new charge.
yeah. I didn't look it up yet to confirm it, but that's what the bug was put in my ear. That's why he was locked up.
Wow. Wow. Well, we got to see. We got to see. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, because at first I thought he was locked up because he had something to do with the case, but no.
No, no. I thought just like everybody else thought that it was a parole or probation violation. That's what I thought. But no, no, no. It's not a probation or parole violation. That
Mm-mm.
is not the case.
No, I believe it's still assault.
Man, she was with some really bad people.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I always say that unfortunately, this had to be her. Our path is set for us the day we take our first breath. So, this is unfortunately what her her life was meant. You know what I'm saying? This is her. Hopefully, her life isn't in vain, and that things like this will stop, and laws will change hopefully, and you know families, people, individuals start taking better care of their children, and children will start speaking up and not being afraid to say something, and people will start listening to them because we call it child protective services here. And I don't even understand what they're good for at this point in time because they're useless. They're just getting paid to do nothing, and something needs to be seriously changed about how child protective services handle things. And It's just unfortunate that it happened to her. But if this is what it had to happen to change, then we'll take that. We'll
Do
take
you think
that one.
do you think that there's going to be a change because Nazaya situation?
I think that people are becoming more aware of their children and protecting their children now. Um, at least I hope so. People are coming more out about and telling their stories about what's happened to them. Um, I think that is bringing more awareness. I don't know if laws are going to change because we have a lot of men out here that likes to engage with young girls, and there's a lot of men in politics. This has been going on for decades, and it's okay to some people that this happens because they're involved and they feel like this is okay to do to children, and it's really not. Children have a right to grow up free of any of that until they're ready. And that's the part that scares me because it's men that like young girls, young women. And when you have men that's basically controlling the world, those laws are going to be hard to change unless us women start standing up.
Right. But when you look at um the whole situation, you kind of be like, it's you know I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but it has to start with the women that has these children. It just do. You can't want a law or the government to just make a law because women are allowing. I mean, they keep talking about these red flags, these red flags. How many red flags is it gotta be? I
Yeah.
mean, he already a pedophile. You
Mhm.
got three women in that house,
Mhm.
three grown women. You got Annette, Shannon, and you got Marquita. And then you got this one man come into this house whenever he want to. He downstairs, he's in the ceiling, he's in the basement, he taking panties, he's coming through the back door, he's at the baby shower, he's at the baby party. And 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 and, and, and we sit back and go, but we need CPS to figure this out. We need a law for this. What? I mean, I just don't get where it is, like, it has to start with the person that's running that house, that has the kids. That's more responsibility than anybody. Don't you think?
I agree. I do agree. And 90% of the time, when children are SA'd, that woman, 9 times out of 10, has probably suffered herself and doesn't address it, or um, is in that need of a man's attention that bad that they're willing to turn the eye. And that's the scary part, that some women just don't know how to um uh I don't know how to say it, to not feel like they have to have someone in their life and to put their child in danger of being harmed. There's a lot of women out there that they would rather have a man than and that you know give them attention and turn their eye. And there's some women that's been trying. There was a lady that came on someone else's panel and was saying, was coming out telling her story about what happened to her, And then she sat there and said, "Yeah, and I sent my daughter over there, and the same thing happened to my daughter, and I was upset." And I'm sitting here thinking, like, what happened? Where was the disconnect? Because how could she not think that the person that did it to her wouldn't do it to her child? And so you sit there and you put your child in the same situation that you was in. I really wanted to go on there and just give her the fifth degree, but some people just got mental problems. And that's how I want to excuse her, but she should have knew better than that.
Right.
She should have knew better than that. She put her child in the same situation that she was in, and they did it to her child too. I don't understand.
But when those red flags are there, when the red flags are there, the kids are saying, "Hey, something happened." We
That
have we have to start digging deeper and not just going, "Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna take such word for it," because we don't never know what situation they're in, that they telling the truth, or that they're not involved, or it just does none of, to be honest with you, all everybody, I'm just saying, I just, all the red flags, and those three women and the kids done said something.
mm-hmm,
Then a situation happened at a birthday party. Then a situation happened at school.
mm-hmm,
And then they dropped the ball. So a lot of things got lost. But they were taking the kids to the hotel and taking the kids to go clean up a oil shop.
mm-hmm.
It doesn't even make sense.
It don't.
It does not make sense. Like, why is these little girls around these big grown men, and everybody talking about, if I would have known, what? How could you not know? How in the world could you? And because when we just found out, because I mean, we heard about it, but there, we couldn't tell if it was true or not, and we still don't know if that message from that teacher is a true message. But still, yet has to be some truth to it. People just don't come out and tell a whole situation, and have key points about the names and the car, and it happened after school, and the grandma called and I followed up. Those are words from a um, mandated reporter like myself, a nurse or a teacher, or things of that nature. So that's why I kind of be like, it could be true. And then when the school was checking and doing all the investigation, knowing that this happened at school, that Naziah lied and said that was her father, that would have been the first place they should have looked. Looking at in the home, looking around the home, looking in the basement, looking in the garage, looking in the attic. Then, okay, some man came up to the school. They had to go get a tablet to tell them who she was texting to. I,
Yeah, you feel like I feel. I just, this. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. It's disappointing that her grandmother just took no action. She took no action. Even when Isaiah told her that she had been touched, she didn't take no action. And it's just really sad. It really is. And um, sh- it's
Now, what is Annette to you? Is she just your cousin?
yeah, she's my first cousin. We share the same grandmother, but not the same grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're half cousins. My grandmother had nine children, and the first two that she had, Annette mother is in that batch.
Okay. but y'all so close in age. Y'all used to did y'all
No,
uh
we're not in close in age. She's in her crush. She's probably about I don't know, and that's probably about 65, 66, and I'm just hitting 51. So
oh okay. She about 15 years older than you.
yeah, she grew up with my mother and them.
Oh, okay. But you respected her.
Yeah, yeah, I did. She was a good cousin, and at least I thought she was. I thought I knew her, but apparently I didn't. Apparently I didn't.
Wow. Did she do anything great or for you or take you places or anything?
She no. You know, and that was just a cousin that I could, call and, talk to about certain things every now and then. Somebody I could call and vent to, and it wouldn't be all spread it around family. You know how they go.
Yeah.
And if she needed a ride somewhere, if I could do it, I'd go pick her up real quick and take her and make her run or whatever. But most of the time, she took Ubers. Um, And
Oh,
it came to a point to where, I had asked her, well, everybody know who he is now, Kenneth. And I had got that weird feeling about him, and I had talked to her, and then after that, I was just, like, cuz, do you know how to drive? Do you got a driver's license? I mean, because I don't understand. And when she told me she had a driver's license, I was like, you need to get a car. I'm gonna take you to the dealership so you can get you a vehicle. And I helped her, get herself a vehicle and explain things to her or whatever. And that's how she got the van because, that stopped me from, going over there or whatever. Once she got that van, I really didn't even bother too much going over there no more because I just didn't feel something was quite right. And
so you had to take a grown woman that had a driver's license to go get a car.
yeah, yeah.
Is she smart or is she just don't?
Uh,
Huh?
uh, you find out a lot about people when you take them to go through processes and they don't know how to go through the process.
Yeah.
But I can say that, with my grandmother will always say, you buy everything with cash. If you don't buy with cash, don't get it all. But, the real world is credit.
Yeah.
And I had to, explain, some things to her about, building her credit up and things like that. And she can't afford to get a vehicle. And I'm like, you wasting so much money using Ubers, and you wasting so much time of your life waiting on the Uber, waiting to be picked up. I come all the way from the west side to take you somewhere. You need to get a ride, and then that's how she got her van.
Hmm. Now, did Shannon have a car?
I don't know if Shannon had a car. I think her vehicle had went down, and she had called me and was like, "Do you know where I can get a vehicle from?" La la la. And I was like, "Yeah, what kind of vehicle?" And I was supposed to pick her up or whatever and take her to this car lot so she can get a van. And then I probably got a text 2 days later. She was saying, never mind. And come to find out, she just sat up there and gave her money to Jarvis, and Jarvis and bought a engagement ring for somebody with her tax money.
Yeah.
So
But her kids always looked nice. So
yeah, that's why I said, one of the cousins was saying they was taking clothes over there and taking food over there. No, you was not. No, you was not. No, you wasn't, because Annette kept them dressed, and she was never out of food. That's for sure. Um,
well, I didn't see Naziah dressed nice though.
well, I don't know what was going on with that. I don't know what was going on with that.
I'm just being honest. I didn't see. I mean, most of the time I seen her. I was like, when she does her TikToks and stuff, I'll be like, oh, okay. But I
Yeah,
mean, sometimes she'll have her hoodie on. That's the only time that it was okay, really nice. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can say I never saw them dirty or nothing like that. They had basics. They, you know what I'm saying? I can't say they was all fresh to the T or in style. They had basics and they was never dirty. That's what I can say.
No, Shannon kids was top notch. When I seen her kid, every picture I seen her, I did not see her kids dirty face, dirty feet, nothing. But I seen Nazaya, and you know, you know, with dingy clothes on, dingy shorts on, no shoes, no socks, But I mean, that's kids. Kids play and get out there and do stuff like that. But I just never seen no really nice, you know, you know, clothing on
Oh,
her.
yeah, yeah. Everybody to each their own on that part. I don't know.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. So if Shannon, I mean not Shannon, but Annette is not smart, how does she get to adopt all these kids and foster kid? That's how she was making her money.
I guess I never, counted her money or asked her, about her finances or none of that. You know what I'm saying? I know she was getting a check. When you get foster kids, you get a check.
Yeah.
That's all. I have to be honest with you. I'd never asked her, what kind of money she was getting or nothing like that. No, she got a lot of food stamps, but I didn't ask her about none else.
I got a question to ask you. And I really didn't stay in the chat, but Mark D had a chat going on at one time. He had some girl on there. I don't know the girl's name, but I guess she's kin to you guys. And the young lady said that the one of your family members uh did something to her, and that's why she feels like she, is the way she is, and she broke down and started crying.
Yeah, you talking about Sierra?
Sierra.
Yeah.
So who did something to Sierra, and who is Sierra?
Well, Sierra is Kiwana's sister, youngest sister. Kiwana and Sierra are sisters. Their mother is Annette's sister.
So who did something to Sierra?
Well, Sierra says that Marquita or Shannon did, but it was one of them or both of them. But yeah, that's what she said. She said that they touched on her when she was a little girl.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, mm, yeah,
Hmm. Wow.
yep. So
So if they touched on her when she was a little girl, they probably touched on Nazaya.
yeah, I thought about the same thing. I just didn't want to say, but yeah, who knows? It seemed like it was just a lot of touching going on with the Gambles.
Mm.
It's just everybody touching on everybody, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, because I seen her start crying. I listened to it for a minute, but I thought to myself, I was like, man, this family got a lot of stuff going on in it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of when being myself and knowing certain people or whatever. Now I can kind of understand why they are, or because you could tell when somebody's screwed up somewhere in the head. You know what I mean? And just analyzing certain people, how they do things, or how they're functioning, or how they medicate themselves will tell you a lot about 'em if you just sit back and you just analyze them. And I've done that with a couple of people and just wonder like what happened to you to be so self-destructive with yourself.
Mm.
So
Hmm. Well, yeah. Somebody in the chat was saying something like, "Oh, no, no, I wasn't speaking ill will of Naziah, you guys." So she's saying she's new here. She's like, Naziah, and this is my opinion. Naziah did have on a nice red sweatsuit and copper her stuff with nice, and her hair was always done well. Um, that's your opinion, but I mean, you know, I don't know about all of that. You know, I be getting on my grandkids. My grandson will come over here, and the mama ain't combed his hair, and he be thinking we gonna go somewhere and do something. I be like, no, we ain't doing nothing. I mean, I can look crazy or whatever, but um, you know what I'm saying?
hmm
I ain't got time for you sitting there with stuff all on your shirt and your hair ain't combed, you ain't brushed your teeth or nothing, and we even if we just going down to the quick trip, like let me just go ahead and put some water on this or something, change your shirt or what something. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Because you never know. Like I'm grown, I really don't care about myself, but I'm not gonna always try to make your the kids look good, look nice.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. If you don't look good, make sure your kids do.
Right, right.
hmm
Do you lose sleep thinking about Naziah?
I did a couple of times.
You
To
said a couple of
where,
times.
yeah, I had to. I found this prayer on YouTube for like missing children or whatever. So I'll
Mhm.
play it pretty much in the morning time when I get up. I don't think about it. I have a picture of her or whatnot. It's hard to know what's happened to her. Um, it really is. It really is. It's hard to know what happened to her, and it didn't have to happen. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard knowing that. Oh,
Don't you want anybody that was involved with hitting her, uh, setting her up, hurting her, hiding her body? Wouldn't you want everybody that's involved?
well, I said from day one when I first started out with Mark D, that I feel like, um, Annette and Shannon, they definitely knew what was going on. They did nothing about it. They didn't stop it. They didn't report it, and they could have. They did nothing. They just let it happen, and now they let it happen to the point to where she's potentially lost her life. They should suffer the same consequences as Jarvis as being locked up. Absolutely. Annette deserves to lose everything she's got. She deserves to lose her freedom because she definitely knew. Shannon deserves to lose her freedom because she knew too.
But
And
Shannon and Annette ain't gonna get no time, no nothing.
we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet.
Well, Kim Worthy said that
Grace.
they didn't charge everybody that they charging.
But she said several more people, several more people.
That's
So
what she said at the beginning, but the last press conference, she said everybody that they charge is charged.
as far as her being unalived, we'll see. We will see. This judge that's going to preside over this trial is no joke. We're going, as far as I know, maybe the case is going to push straight through. So hopefully he'll be sentenced before 2026 roll in. So we can do what we need to do for Naziah. Um, but yeah, They let this happen. To me, they're accessories because they knew.
Yeah, they knew. They definitely knew.
Yeah, they're to me they're accessories. They're accessories to the crime. Why should they not suffer any consequences? They let it happen. They let it happen, and they let it continue, and they knew.
Do you miss talking to your cousins?
No, no,
No.
no, I don't. Um,
So
they
did you and your one cousin that y'all, I guess y'all got into it on TikTok or whatever? Um,
don't Kiwana.
Kiwana, y'all work it out yet?
Not yet, not yet, but we'll come around because that's my. She's a generation under me. Me and her mother are first cousins, so she's a generation up under me. Eventually, we'll work through it. I'm really pissed off with her right now because she got people digging into my daughter's personal business for no reason. Um,
Your daughter personal what, Roxy?
yeah,
You're very protective of Roxy.
that's my daughter.
Is that the only child you have?
No,
Oh, okay.
but she didn't deserve all that. What Kiwana did, she really didn't.
What, telling her personal life?
Yeah,
Well,
it doesn't have anything to do with Nazaya.
but
Nothing.
people were gonna find out anyway.
Uh, Either or, she didn't have to do what she did. That's at the end of the day, we still cousins. Y'all are not related to us. You understand what I'm saying? So if let me put it this way, even though we're upset with Kiwana, if Kiwana called me right now and was like, "Cuz, I need your help," blah 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 blah, I'ma show up. I'm gonna do whatever she need help with, and then I'm gonna walk away from her and probably even call her a bitch. And I'm still mad at you, but I'm still gonna show up for her because that's still my cousin at the end of the day.
Okay.
So
I mean, what was so bad that she could have said about your daughter that y'all are unspeaking? I mean, what could be so bad? Like,
I mean, she gave my daughter's real name out. She gave my daughter's wife name out. She gave my daughter's address out.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, but ain't nobody. There's no day. People gonna know. They 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 gonna know what her name is when she's on TV.
She's on all her TVs, court TVs. Her name is Roxy Rocks. Yes, ma'am. Nobody knew her name until Kiwana gave it out. Her birth name.
Okay, but there's no damage to that. I mean, nobody done came to her house or knocked on her door or
I
you
mean,
know.
I advise that they don't because her wife is a cop and it's cameras. So, I advise that they don't. You got people out here that's been misled with misleading information as far as Roxy. You know what I'm saying? It's
But trust me, when you get on the news and you get on social media, you can have a nickname. You can have people will. They're gonna find out your name sooner or later.
yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, but either or, Kiwana didn't have no business doing all of that.
Right. I get you. I understand because some people, you don't want them to have easy access to it though.
That part.
It's just like, oh, you come on here. Oh, I just tell you what my name is. No, you're going to have to do some work if you want to know what my government name is.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there was a lot of stuff that was said that had absolutely nothing to do with Nazaya. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Well, some people think because, you know, she lives a different uh, alternative lifestyle or whatever. A lot of people didn't know that.
What business is it for them to know? What does it have to do with Nasiah?
It doesn't have anything to do with Naziah, but people were thinking, oh, so what are you hiding? Why are you so mad? Because
Well,
that's just the way it is in 2026.
yeah, we don't have nothing to hide about Nasiah, but when it comes to our personal business, it's nobody's business. When you can ask 50,000 questions, you can ask whatever questions you want to ask about Nasiah, but when it comes to our personal business, it's not your business. You know what I'm saying? It's not your business to know anything about me personally. It's not about me. I'm not
But
the one. I'm not the one that's on trial. I'm not the one that hurt Nasiah. You know what I'm saying? Why you what you kind of digging to me for? For what?
well, people are going to do that though.
Yeah, that's just being stupid nosy. That's what I call it.
Yeah, yeah.
For what are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? Ain't like she was the one taking care of Nasiah, or I was the one taking care of Nasiah, or we let this happen to Nasiah. No, we've been out here trying to get everybody aware of what has happened to Nasiah. We want everybody to know.
Right,
We don't have nothing to hide. You know?
right, 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 right. Well, she probably just knew that would have made you guys mad. That's it, you know.
Well, it did. It
Well,
definitely.
it's not a big thing though. I mean, when you really in time you'll see it's not a big thing. People would have found that if they were nosy enough, if they wanted to know, they knew. They probably didn't say it. I came on here and I was on here and I was like, y'all don't know my name. They was like, yeah, we do. Your name is such and such. I was like, dang. I was
Mhm.
like, well, you really don't know my real name because,
Yeah.
yeah, but I just leave it at that. They be like, yeah, we do. You go by this, you go by that. Somebody called you and they called you by this name and that don't tell you nothing. And then when they find out what your name is or what you go by or what people know you from, it's like now what? And then,
Yeah.
I mean, they be like, well, at least we know. Well, go check out whatever you want. You're not gonna find anything. And but it I know it will make you mad because then they can know where you live and where you work and how many times you file bankruptcy and pretty much where you live at your pretty much your ballpark of what you make a living and stuff like that, which is peanuts. Who cares? But if you're a secretive person, you just don't care to put that information out there. You don't want somebody just blabbing in them
Right. That part.
because there is some crazies out there that will come looking for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And this one out here, her name is Queen something. That woman crazy. Man, I had to send her a message. I was like, I don't care how you feel or whatever, but if you pop up at my door or my daughter's door, just know, just prepare yourself to not live anymore.
You probably done got into it with her.
No, I was on one of the other panels, and she recorded herself commenting to what I was saying. I was like, oh yeah, she's a Looney Tune.
Oh, you called her a Looney Tune?
Yeah, she's a Looney Tune.
Okay.
Sometimes you gotta call people what it is. She's a Looney Tune.
Oh. Hmm. And so now she not threatening you guys, is she?
Yeah, she did.
Oh. Oh. So, and I want to ask you this question because I know I asked you this question. I'm not going to keep it long, but so you said that somebody in you think Jarvis family is are they threatening you guys? Because it's not Jarvis family. You said Jarvis kid?
Oh yeah, I said one of his daughters that Shannon was real tight was threatening me in the beginning when I started out on Facebook about it when I was posting this picture and trying to tell everybody what kind of guy Shannon was messing with.
Oh, before this situation?
Yeah, before he got locked up. Yeah,
Oh, oh, but they ain't said nothing to you lately.
yeah. I think she changed her name. I'm pretty sure she changed her name. So yeah, but she be on things.
Yeah, other channels.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, but I appreciate you letting me come on your panel and talk with you. When I couldn't call in because when I'm driving I can't call in. I can answer calls, but I can't pick my phone up and make calls.
Oh, okay. We were just, yeah, I was supposed to have this video together today, and then my grandson got in a car accident, so I just said,
Oh, is he okay?
yeah, yeah, he okay. So I'm gonna probably try to have it tomorrow. I'm gonna work on it while I'm at work tonight. I'm gonna have it tomorrow, and we're just gonna go over some of the discrepancies that's out there, because see, I'm a type of person that I look at the discrepancies, and I just can't believe what people say when you say one thing and then this person say that. But then, when people come to me and say, well, they said this or they seen that or this happened, and I'll be like, I really can't believe what they said, because that just, somebody's covering up something.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much information out there. I didn't literally been on somebody's panel, said something straightforward, and listened to somebody else doing a recap of what I said, and then twisted this what I said totally around. I was like, wow, I didn't even say that, but okay.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part right there. When you literally know you didn't say it, and they saying that you did say it, and it's recorded, and but you saying that I said something else, then I didn't say it, and it's literally recorded.
Yeah, I've had people come on over here and tell me the same thing. They'd be like, SP, you said that. I was in the chat and I said, I did not. Go back and look at it. You must have changed it. You edited. You took it out. I was like, I don't edit my videos. I just don't. I leave them there. If it's something I don't like on the video, I just lock it up so nobody can see it. Honey, go look. I don't edit the videos. I ain't got that kind of time.
Yeah, that part.
But
Yeah,
they swear up and down, and they'd be like, you lying, you lying. I'd be like, oh, girl, just get out of here. Bye.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm a grown woman. If I said it once, I'll say it again.
That
Shoot.
part.
And who gonna stop me? If I said it once, I'll say it again. No.
That part. Like
You're
you gonna
trying
be
to
on
get me
punishment or
in.
something.
I ain't got no problem saying what I said. If I said it, I said it. But I didn't. So shut up. Get out of here. You did. Oh God.
Yeah,
Girl,
yeah.
just liar, get out of here, liar. And it's like, yeah, it's hard to argue with somebody that's sitting there knowing they lying and continue to lie on you.
Yeah, yeah, I've had that several thousand times happen already, and then people will tell you, "Oh, stay off of people panels." Don't tell me to stay off of people panels. When you talking about my name or my daughter name and you putting out there bad information, I'm going to say something. I don't care how you feel, because
Yeah.
I got it right. This is the you got my picture all up on your on your videos, and people know who I am. But yes, I'm gonna come on your panel. Yes, I sure am. I sure am. I'm not saying that you had that or whatever. I just happened to be scrolling and heard you talking, but other people, Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus.
Well, now, if you said something wrong, we would pull pictures and we would go in. But you know what? To be honest with you, that is not what we all about, though. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you literally just told us a big black lie or a white lie, whatever, and you were involved in some kind of, no, I mean, you can lie all you want. We really don't care. You lie. But when it comes to the child and you said something or whatever, I understand why people get mad.
Right, and then the thing is what's funny is that my daughter sounds just like me. So sometimes people be like, "Yeah, you said." I'm like, "No, I didn't either." Roxy said that.
Your daughter and you do sound alike. Y'all do. I'm like, dang. But
Yeah,
I don't know why people get mad at you guys, to be honest with you, because I mean, you guys really wasn't there. You can only tell us the dynamics of the family, and sometimes, and because you're there and you're in the courtroom, there's things that we don't get to see that because I'm always in the courtrooms and I'm like, hey, you guys, they just snatched, the family out the courtroom because they started acting a fool, or such and such ran over and thought they were going to fight, or somebody brought drugs in. I tell them the inside. And since we're not there, you can tell us those things. But I mean, in all reality, you guys know as much as we know. Maybe you might know just a tad bit more. And even if you did, you couldn't really even say nothing.
right. Because I mean, it's not worth for us to go to jail for y'all.
I
I don't
mean,
want to go to jail for 30 days. You know what I mean? I don't want that.
you wouldn't go to jail. There's no gag order on this.
Yeah,
There's no gag order. So you wouldn't even go to jail. There's
yeah.
no gag order. You would mess up the case though.
Potentially, yeah. So
You
I
know what I'm
definitely
saying?
want to do that.
Because, I may know some things. And I'm a type of person. It's hard for me to hold water. So, if I know something, then I think it's worth not messing up the case and saying something that I know,
Yeah,
but knowing that it will come out. But I just don't say it.
yeah, yeah. Well, October is a long way away. It really is. But this judge that's on the case, we heard he we got a pretty good judge that's going to preside over it. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully we will find out about Naziah. So,
Yeah,
like I said, for them people that's got hope and praying for her, please continue to do so.
we sure will.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate you talking about her story. As I said, with everybody, that's the only way we can keep the story alive is through you guys talking about it or whatever and finding out more information and talking to other people. What would be nice is if we can get, Jarvis siblings on here and maybe they could talk about his childhood and, tell us like how did he become this kind of a person, you know?
Well, yeah.
Because I mean, something happened more than just that woman, you know.
Well, you know, boys are boys. Boys are hard to raise. You never know what goes on in a boy's, you know, life. Jarvis had a hard life too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's it'd be nice to, know some of his life. Where did he come from? What kind of family did he come from? How did he get to this point? How did he get to this point? Like how?
Well,
How
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. Um, family definitely ain't gonna come on. Okay, because only thing that's gonna happen to a family member of Jarvis to come on is they're gonna get beat down. People gonna
really?
be in the chat, you lying, you this, you that, and they just gonna get dragged. They just gonna get dragged and dragged and dragged. And you know, I mean, they've already let everybody know. They let me know. They let everybody know. They do not support Jarvis in what he done. They know we know that. They let us know that. And that's all really need to be said because they not, like to tear. Okay, he's already tore down. He's already going away forever for good, you know. But people will blame family members. They would blame the dog. Oh, the dog had something to do with it. Oh, the dog food had something to do with it. Oh, the pizza that they ordered had something to do with it. They'll make up something and they don't care about dragging anything, anybody, their jobs, their whole life, and then they don't have anything to do with. They may not can answer what happened because think about it. Nobody in your family can say how this even happened to Naziah, and they were right there. They're either not saying nothing because here's the thing: you want Jarvis's family to get on, but only thing Marquita gets on and talk about is her boyfriend and how they can get back together or whatever. Okay, Shannon ain't saying nothing. Shannon's like, shoot, I ain't got to answer nobody. Annette, she don't even get on the camera. She's like, she runs to her car. So those are the people that needs to come on.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's why I had to tell some people like y'all sitting up here wasting your time trying to investigate Roxy and myself. Y'all investigating the wrong people. Y'all need to focus on Annette, Shannon, and Marquita, the people who let her down, the people who knew shit was going on with her. Them the people y'all need to be after. Like,
But everybody believed that Annette and Shannon had something to do with it. So I understand why they just don't say anything. I mean, I don't know if they had something to do with it, but I mean, it's kind of weird to me that Jarvis was showing up at this girl's school and coming in the back door and in the basement and out everywhere and he taking somebody home after 20 years ago and making sure that the kids get a toy. I know what a person that is a SO is, but I don't think they killers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then Shannon got on the stand and said, you never know what a person do when their back is against the wall.
oh, yes.
Girl, you 1 foot away from going to prison yourself because
Yes.
you cannot tell me if the child was missing and she was, y'all just went in the house and went to bed. Jarvis even called Shannon and she didn't even answer the phone.
Hmm.
But Naziah's missing. But then when they come in to get the tablet, you run and go put the tablet on the charger, charge it up to see what they gonna see. You really, really now worried about what they gonna see. But you wasn't worried about where this baby was the night she didn't come home. And you didn't worry the next day.
Can I answer this question for one of your people that's in this chat?
Go ahead. Who is it?
Phyllis DeHart.
Phyllis D. Hart?
Yeah. She
Yeah.
said, does she have an idea where Naziah is?
That's a
Phyllis,
that's a praying woman. Go ahead and talk to her.
Phyllis, if I had an idea of where Naziah was at, do you think we would be talking about Naziah? Do you think that we would have not had a memorial for Naziah? Do you think that we would still be praying to figure out what happened to Naziah? I'm just saying, Phyllis. If you got a different question to ask me, then ask me. But don't ask me, do I know where Naziah is at? I don't have anything to do with her disappearance. I'm praying that we find out where she's at. I'm praying that Jarvis tells us what she did, what he did with her, or what has happened to her. But please stop asking me that question. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, can you? Yeah, even though you were really nice about it, I see why you get into it with people. I see why you get into it with people.
I mean, if I knew where Naziah was at, would I be talking to people? I mean, Common sense. Come on now. If I knew where my little cousin's at, you think I'd be talking to people about her missing?
Mm, well, you know how many times I hear, where is Naziah? Where is Naziah? I
Like,
hear
yeah,
it, I see it. It's in the chat when you're not even here.
that's crazy. How, if we knew where she was at, we wouldn't be having this story. We'd be talking about what's going on, what's going to happen because of what happened to her. Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy question to just keep asking. Where's Naziah? Where's Naziah? We knew we wouldn't be on
Well, I guess that's your nice way of putting it. I remember you were in somebody's chat. I can't remember, and somebody asked that same question, and the way that you answered the question, I kind of was like, "Oh my goodness."
here.
So I guess that is a nice way to answer it. I can't tell you how to talk. You're a grown woman. I ain't gonna tell you, but um, you know, I just know Phyllis Dillard is a. If she ain't a pastor, she's a praying woman. So
Or
yeah,
maybe it's the way that they ask the question. You know what I'm saying? If you ask a direct question, you get a direct answer from me. And her question was real direct. Where is Naziah? Like,
she said. She says, does she have an ideal where Naziah is? That's what. Let me see here. That's what her comment says. Does she have an idea? And you got to remember when you on chats, you know, text don't have no kind of feeling.
to it. Yeah, you're right.
We read it and we feel some kind of way. Some Most of the time we already in our feelings, and you probably seen the question 15, 20 times, and so but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I don't mean to be harsh or nothing, but that's like the number one question that's asked over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm not the one that had anything to do with her disappearance. How could I possibly answer that question?
She says, does she have any ideal where Naziah is?
How would I have an idea?
Yeah, you want to come up? I guess Zan wants to come up. You can come up. I put the link in the chat if you wanted to come up and ask the question or whatever. I'll paste it again. I got it pinned. Did they check the basement where they used to stay?
From
Candy is asking.
from what I hear, they checked all of it. From what I hear, that's all I can say. From what I hear, can I confirm it? I sure can't, but I sure hope that they did.
Yes.
So I think that Detroit Police Department dropped the ball when Naziah's name was on that report, and I feel like they put an extra effort in to make sure that her case is solved.
So Phyllis responded to what you're saying, and she says, I mean, with all the info now, do you have any idea of putting it all together?
Well, Miss Phyllis, I honestly really won't be able to put it all together until the trial, because the trial is going to tell us, answer a lot of questions that's out there that we only got bits and pieces. You know what I mean? They're not going to tell us all the information that they've gathered and the reason why they know Jarvis did what he did and why she's no longer here.
Oh,
So, you know, the information that we got is just like 30% of
Phyllis is on the line. Phyllis, what you got to say?
Well, first of all, hello, it's Steve.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for being on the panel today. I wasn't at the very first couple minutes that I got on. But I really mean any harm by that question. And anybody that knows me, I just meant that with all the information that keeps coming up, we still don't know it all. I know y'all don't know it all, but I just wonder, if still as the information comes up and as you put it all together, you might have a different aspect of where maybe she could be. That's the only thing I was asking. Girl, I pray every
I can't hear you.
family. I pray every day for all families in this kind of situation. It's very tragic. Nobody deserves this to happen to them, but it goes on more than what we all know. It happens all over the world. So no, I didn't mean any harm by that. And like I said, anybody that knows me would know that I didn't mean any harm by that. That's the only thing I meant. So if you took it that way, I apologize, but no, it was a reasonable question.
Oh, okay. No apology needed, Miss Phyllis. I appreciate you. I didn't mean to come off harsh or nothing, but I mean, a lot of people be asking that question. Do you know where she at? What? Well, and it'd be like, oh my God, if I knew where she was at, we wouldn't be looking for her. But like I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate your prayers for Naziah, and and when trial come, we'll know them.
One that she goes over information, her mods, they go over information, and we come back and we go back over it again. Then I start searching other tubers to see what they're saying. But most of all, I'm praying and ask God. God, just, if there's something that I'm missing, even when I'm going over it, give me an idea. I'm sure the Holy Spirit.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I believe in prayer. I believe that prayer changes things. And I believe, if God wants it to be known, we will know where she's at. And justice will come to every single person. Like I said in the comments, whether it's on this side of heaven or on the other side. Wherever they may end up, I don't have no heaven and hell put nobody in. But I can ask God. I'll be like David sometimes.
Yeah.
Put my feelings because he's my father. And this is tragic.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is very tragic.
Yeah. It's okay, Phyllis.
I'm not a stranger to this,
Yeah.
This kind of stuff run in my family. I'm not a stranger to this.
Right.
But I do know that there is help out there.
Yeah.
And these curses through Jesus Christ can be broken.
Yeah. That is a good question, though. With everything that she knows, do she now have any kind of ideal, like Yeah, that's a good question.
The one question that, I would like to ask the police department, and what I really think that she's at the park somewhere. If it comes out for him to say that, yeah, she's at River Rouge buried such, then that's when we'll probably conduct the largest search, and that's when we'll probably hope that people will come and help us search, because it's a big park. My daughter was over there searching, and this young lady approached her and was telling her that she knew Jarvis or whatever, and that he grew up in the area and he knows that park by the back of his hand. So he knows it very well. So he would know where he could hide her if that is where she's at. So we just gonna really ask for prayers that, to pray that he will release what he did do.
Right.
And if she's recoverable.
Cool. Zan is in the building. Hey, Zan, what's going on? You got a question for Kenya? Kenya, you're up here? Zan?
I'm right here, SP. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Kenya. Thank you for coming on and gracing us with your presence.
Hi, Ms. Zan. Thank you.
Did you have a question, Zan?
Oh, yes. I guess I'm getting a backlash. But so one of my questions that I have the most is there anything more that Kenya believes can be done to get an understanding of exactly what happened?
Um, so I'm trying to understand the question. So are you saying that do I think
Is there is
that
there anything that you think any more that you believe as a family member could be done to get to the bottom of what actually occurred during that evening, the morning, whenever, whatever the tragedy was? Do you believe there's anything else more that can be done to get to the bottom of what exactly happened?
to be honest, I think that the police and the prosecutors know what happened. I believe that they
Oh,
know everything that happened. I believe that they will give us the information during trial. So that's why they said that undoubtedly they will be able to prove Zion is no longer here.
Hmm.
okay, because I have a feeling that uh, if they were able to involve maybe private investigators, someone that just had a dedication to this particular case, uh, we could really get some answers.
Yeah,
I think that there are a lot more players involved than those that are obvious and those that are being seen. I think that there are a lot of people that played a role but hid their hand in getting the situation drug out as far as it is. I think there should be a lot of charges across the way, not only for individuals but organizations as well. And I think that everybody should be held accountable because at the end of the day, this child, it seems like everybody is content with throwing this baby away.
I
Oh
agree.
well, the police are pretty much sure that she's gone. Prove it. Why do they believe that? There's a reason they believe that.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that'll come out in trial. So we'll get all that when they do trial.
okay, and then if you don't get the answers, but you get a little petty conviction, do you think that there will be family members that will then push to find out more information, or they'll just be satisfied with what they got?
Man, that's a hard question right there. Um, I really want if he doesn't tell us what happened, or if we're going to be able to cover her. I would hope that his sister um, will go visit him and perhaps he will tell her. That's what I'm going to hope. But hopefully he'll tell us in trial. So, but if he does not, I'm going to pray that his sister that he respects that hopefully she'll go talk to him and she'll get it out of him if he don't.
Hmm. So you're hoping if he doesn't get the um is it death no, it's
All he can do is
without with
life.
life without parole
Hmm.
is for the murder charge. The other ones, I think one of them's a 25-year and one of them's 15. And I guess they're reaching the max on those. So that'll be 25, 35, 40 years. And then he's got those two other cases with two charges. Or maybe they're going to have more charges than just two.
Yeah, he's got a lengthy charge record, lengthy. So
But they can drop them.
they
Well, that's a good question too, Zan.
they can, but I don't think that they will because they dropped the ball. So I'm pretty sure. I'm willing to bet he'll never get out.
Well, that's because of the charges of the SA already. That's a given. They're not fighting that. Because they know they can't fight it with him, his phone, and talking to the little girl, and she responding, and they're having a full relationship. She believes it, he believes it. That right there is going to give him 50, 25 times two. That'll give him that,
Plus,
you know.
plus the two little young ladies that testified against him. One being his own daughter. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Zan, you got any questions for her?
Now that would be it, SP.
Okay.
Uh, just what the one that I just asked, and what did she think was most appropriate in that?
Yeah. I believe and I can't speak for Kenya, but just talking to her, I believe that they believe what the police says more than anything. And they may have a reason to believe everything that they say, but I don't know because they have they have screwed up a couple of times. Um, you know, and I do know, just looking at this case, I do know that they want Jarvis so bad that they're not looking at King. When I had been told King was not involved, I was told that, but I don't believe that because King has distanced himself from the whole situation, and I don't believe nothing that King has said. Mm-mm, sure don't. Only thing King said that was true was his name was Cardell Wright, but everybody call him King. Everything else he said, no, nope, I don't believe it.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off this chat with you. I got some things I gotta take care of.
All righty, thank you for showing up.
Yep, I appreciate you letting me on, and I appreciate you talking about Messiah. Thank you.
Thank you. Zan.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a good question. See, I think they're not used to YouTube and all of that, going live and stuff. So when they read something, they get very defensive. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
and then when they get defensive, the whole chat will strike. And you gotta like no. I mean, because when you read a text, it has no feelings. It's just you read it and it's the timing or you know. And then if you've seen that same question or whatever, I'm not making no excuses. I'm just saying, you can tell there's certain people that when they be in channels and chats all the time, they they know these things, but they're not used to this kind of conversation, you know. Or somebody's asking a question. Then there's somebody that just came in the chat and asked the same question. And then somebody else come in the chat and then they ask the same question. Or you done already been on 5 channels and the question was asked 5 or 10 times. And you get like That'd be stupid. Why you keep asking me the same question? But I just this is my first time asking you the question. So we just try to keep it calm though. But I think all the questions was good. Phyllis says the burden of proof is what Kim says they have. Yeah, yeah. Kim is saying they have a lot, but man, I don't know. I think she got everybody believing something that ain't so, and keeping everybody calm. But you know, that would have been great to see that they have a picture of him walking into there because they have the receipt. Why not have the picture? Then at least we could say she was alive until 9:30. Right now we can't say she was alive till 9:30 because you gotta believe what King is saying. They came back from Yslany. And I'm to the point I just don't believe that. And there's a reason why I don't believe it. There's a reason why I don't believe that. And I don't believe they got a picture of him walking that baby into that that motel either. I believe they got him probably signing an agreement, and that's it. A receipt. That's it. He didn't even come give him the key and checked out. I think he left the key in the room. I don't even think he stayed in the room all night. And there's a reason why I believe that. But I don't think they're going to investigate the situation to figure it out. All they want is who they got. And if they can get King to stay on his story, which King is lying, knowing good and well, they wasn't just going up and down the street because they forgot a part. They were looking for Naziah, and he can't say that because he'll be a part of it, the situation. Zan?
Yes,
All right, you done fell asleep.
my bad. Sorry, I've been up since 4:30.
Yeah, I know you was. All right. I'm gonna get off of here and go tend to my thing. I was just coming on here for a quick live, but I am working on that video, so I'll work on it tonight.
Okay. Well, SP, I know that for myself, I appreciate all the hard work that you've put into this case,
You know what,
trying to keep this young lady's name out there.
Zan? Because you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. Everybody's gonna forget about her. They're gonna go to the next case, and then when the case come up for trial, nobody's gonna click on to see what happened to Naziah because Naziah's gonna be like Zion and these other girls that came up missing and these other kids that came up missing, and they're gonna take a deal, and he's gonna get little time. He's gonna get little time, and Annette's gonna go along with her life. Shannon's gonna go on with her life, and
I totally agree with you, SP.
yeah, yeah,
And this baby's gonna get caught in the by the wayside.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I appreciate every time somebody comes up and visit, especially on the platform. Thank you, Zan. I'm gonna holler at you as soon as I get off of here.
Okay.
All righty.
All right, sweetheart. You have a good evening.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Hey, you guys. I was just coming on here for a quick live, and Kenya pulled up. Like I said, she said, I appreciate 8 USP. I know. I know you guys. Um, like I said, I really wasn't ready for a live today because I done went through everything. But I thank God. But I thank God. Kenya showed up, and you guys, I'm gonna say this about the family. Because she's not a distant family member. She's she's part of the family. She kin to Annette and Shannon and Marquita, and she don't know what happened to Naziah. She wasn't there, but she do believe that she's gone. So it's hard to talk to somebody that already believes that. So with that being said, um, and she part of the family, and I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I don't have to understand it. She's, you know, she's Naziah's family. But I don't know if I had family members like that. I would want my family members to stay strong and stay hopeful and keep looking. Because if we quit looking, because why look for something that's gone? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you might end up, you never know. You never know. I've done seen some crazy things happen. I really have. I done seen some crazy, 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 crazy things happen. And then we all sitting over here going, see, I told you, ain't God, won't God do it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, where was all that energy when we were looking, you know? And then be like, oh, well, I was wrong. Yeah, I would love for you to be wrong. I would love for you to be wrong. Not for you to be wrong for something like, um, you know, because unless there's something we don't know, why would you believe that? Because Kim said it because she's not on TikTok. That would not be enough for me. If any of y'all came up missing, I would still be looking. That would not be enough for me to stop and just believe that you're gone. I would still. Yeah, Milky Way. Milky Way say, I love to be proven wrong in this instant. Exactly. I want to prove her wrong, but God don't work like that. I mean, people have their own opinions that she believe what she believe. She do. She believe what she believe. And you know, um, it do look bad. We said the same thing on the Cody Bixby case. Y'all, this don't look too good. Phyllis, I don't think Kim has that bang theory, what we gonna see at the trial. I don't think she gonna have that that's gonna push it over to the edge. I hope that they squeeze these gentlemen that's in jail and they just come on out and tell, you know, like, shoot, we gonna give you a deal. Or King, we finna give you some time. You think you only gonna be in here for 1 or 2, 3 years? No, we finna give you 300 years. How about that? And then you go ahead and then now let's find out what the truth is. Be like, man, I'm looking at 300 years. I'm finna, because I was only looking at 3. Now I'm looking at 300. I'm gonna go ahead and tell what happened. And they say they ain't gonna tax it up. You know what I'm saying? Talk to your lawyer and shoot. Because if I was the police down there, y'all would not want me to be the police. Because I'll give some people some time, to make them tell. You know what I'm saying? It's a child. Make them tell. You just can't be like, Okay, if you tell, you know what I'm saying? Make them tell. Give everybody some time down there that had, that dropped balls and stuff. Make them tell why they did what they did. Why you didn't call the police. Why you didn't go look for her. Make them tell. Why you didn't answer your phone when Jarvis called you. But y'all looking for Naziah. You were so worried about Naziah not coming home. Why you didn't answer your phone? Phyllis said, I think they have some other proof. That's kind of what she kind of threw out there. Well, at the end of the day, they're gonna have, I don't think they're gonna have that bang theory, that bang, like here's a picture of him and Naziah walking into, or into the room. I don't know. I felt he was lying when he first spoke. He had something to do with it. Yeah, I do too, Candy. I do too. And for you guys, it don't make no sense. I'm gonna get off of here because I'll just be a walking recorder, shaking my head. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Not getting no rest, not getting no sleep, wondering why they lying, why they have to lie, you know? And the more questions we ask, the more questions we're going to have. I know that. I know that. But it don't make sense for a person to lie. And people was telling me, but SP, they lied on the stand. Yeah, they did. They didn't have a problem. Or they didn't really come forth with all of the truth. Thank you, Phyllis. Not to mention, Shannon should have been wondering why Jarvis did stop everything and look for her good as he was with her so much. But omission is a lie. Yep, yep, yep. All right, you guys, I came late. You're fine. We're finna get off here. Kaylin, we're finna get off here. You guys, I got to work on that video. It's gonna be good. It's nice because it's gonna be how I look at things. I want you guys to see it. I'll come on tomorrow, probably about 1 o'clock in the evening. All right, you guys, be good, be safe, be nice to each other. Bye.